The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.
Welcome to the David Pakman Show. You know, we've been talking a lot about the Republican debates that have been taking place, and I think it's starting to get to me, Lewis, because I had the most bizarre dream this morning where I was in some kind of a coffee shop and people were watching a Republican debate that was on TV, and in the debate, this is so weird. This is a dream I had, mind you. This is not something, I don't want to get emails saying this never actually happened. Michelle Bachmann was singing in the debate, and it was like a reality show. She had chosen, of course, to sing the national anthem in this dream.
Of course.
And then after that, there were sports. The candidates were competing in sports, and I'm yelling to people in the coffee shop, "No, you idiots! Don't you realize this isn't real? This isn't real politics. People, it's like American Idol. This is like a reality show. People, they're singing and doing sports." And nobody was paying attention to me in the dream. Nobody noticed or cared. They were just cheering and clapping for Michelle Bachmann singing the national anthem at a debate. I think we don't need to be a particularly skilled psychotherapist to figure out the meaning of this dream, do we?
No, not at all.
I think it's pretty clear that the Republican debate situation has become a circus. I mean, the introduction to the CNN Tea Party debate was indistinguishable from the introduction to a reality show.
And clearly you're being tormented because of it. You're in agony.
Clearly I'm in agony as a result of it. And in the dream, nobody cared. Everybody loved it. People were having much more fun picking the Republican nominee based on their singing and the athletics than they were based on actually having debate.
So if these debates get any more ridiculous, you might have to be institutionalized.
I might be. I don't know.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Natan brought up something interesting after the last show, which is imagine if there was actually like a 6-hour debate. I mean, we have a bunch of Republican candidates. Imagine there was a 6-hour debate where they didn't have the security blanket of being cut off after 30 or 60 or, I don't know, at the very most 90 seconds by some kind of moderator. And they actually had to talk at length about policy, economics, social issues. I would still disagree with a lot of them, probably most of them. However, wouldn't it become much more clear who was actually competent, at least, who really understood the issues?
Yeah, definitely.
But that's not going to happen. We have these 1 hour minus commercials, minus a variety of different interactions with the hosts, etc. And it's actually to the detriment of the voters because not all of these candidates are of equal intellect. Let me assure you that. And that would become very, very clear if there was a longer debate format.
Right.
But it's not going to happen.
No, I mean, it's a little bit better after the primaries, but not by much.
No.
So, yeah, and it's never going to change just because of the structure of the networks and everything.
Who do you think would actually be the most competent? Not that you would agree with them the most, but if there was a long-form debate like that where they have to go back and forth with multiple point counterpoints, I think that it would be, I'm not saying I agree with the views of these people, but I think the ones that would come out as seeming the most competent and having a real deep knowledge are, Lewis is looking at me. He's wondering what I'm going to say.
You're going to say Ron Paul's one of them.
I do think Ron Paul is one of them. I do think Ron Paul will be one of them.
No, I agree. He is one of the few people who can describe in detail exactly what he wants to do and how he wants to implement it.
I think Huntsman would be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be Ron. I think Ron Paul and Huntsman. And I'm not totally sure about this. I really disagree with the guy, and I disagree with almost everything he's ever done and said, and I don't like the guy on a personal level. But maybe Newt Gingrich would be able to keep it together in a longer, real debate.
Definitely more so than the other candidates.
Bachmann or Mitt Romney.
Right.
What do you think on this, Natan? Am I right? If Ron Paul and Huntsman and maybe Gingrich would appear to be the most competent in a real debate.
Yeah, I don't know Huntsman too well, and I will say about Ron Paul that even though he appears to be very articulate, I don't think he has a lot of profundity on any of these. Like,
you don't think so?
I think that if he talked for more than a little while, you would see that he just has some very basic views, and he just repeats them over and over again, and he repeats those basic talking points very articulately, but he doesn't have very much to say. I would say Newt Gingrich is probably the smartest out of all of them by far.
Okay, so you think it's Gingrich. Yeah. Interesting. And what do you think, Lewis?
I mean, I'm not going to say that one is more competent than the others. I think those three are the ones who who could actually have a debate.
And hold it together in a real long debate.
Right.